When one opens one's eyes, what are there? So many things. How come? Just how many moments of seeing, condition, different shape and form, to be taken for something now, isn't it? And what is the absolute truth? That's why just learn to understand the truth gradually. Otherwise, the self tries so hard again and again, try to realize the truth, try to understand more. But how can it be more without stage by stage of the development of understanding? Is it firm now? There's no Nina, no Sujin, no one at all. All are Dhammas, different ones by conditions, arising and falling away, never to return.
I think they're getting ready to start.
Morning all. Good night for Anne, of course.
Thank you, Carmen. Good morning.
Morning.
Good morning.
Morning, Ajahn.
สวัสดีค่ะท่านอาจารย์ค่ะ
I don't think she can hear us yet.
Apparently not.
Okay, I think we can start. For those at home here, we have Ajahn, Jonathan, Alberto, Kuntin, Kun Em, Dream, Hung, Betty, and maybe one or two others coming in. So glad you can join us from home. Does anyone have any question they would like to bring up to start?
I can do if you like.
Go ahead, Nina.
Ajahn said something about fire on one's head and understanding dukkha. He said, so long as no fire on one's head, no dukkha yet. And I was wondering about the meaning of this, because fire on one's head is a sense of urgency. And usually we think of a self who has a sense of urgency, but that is not the meaning of the Buddha. It's all in our momentary realities. So is the fire on my head? No, I am not so urgent. I'm turning 95 very soon, and I know I will die very soon, not live so long anymore. And still, I'm forgetful, and there is no fire on my head. And she said also no dukkha yet, and dukkha has many meanings, but the deepest meaning is the arising and falling away of one reality at a time. So her sentence, so long as no fire on one's head, there is no dukkha yet, I'm sure it has a deeper meaning, which I don't get yet.
Can I guess? I think here the fire on one's head refers to the characteristic of dukkha.
I think that if there's no understanding of life at this moment, if there's no understanding of what appears now, there's no appreciation of what is meant by fire on one's head, and there's no understanding of what dukkha is, the reality that falls away instantly. So no dukkha means no understanding of what is dukkha now, because without the understanding of seeing now, what is seen now, hearing now, what is heard now, whatever reality appears now, it's impossible to understand what is dukkha. People who have read or listened to the Buddha's teachings, they talk a lot about dukkha, and they think they understand what dukkha is, and they talk a lot about painful feeling, and they talk a lot about aversion and dosa and unhappiness, but actually no understanding at all of sankhara dukkha, the arising and falling away of seeing now, the arising and falling away of panya now. Whatever is conditioned falls away. It's dukkha, it's unsatisfactory. So without understanding life now, no appreciation of the fire on one's head and no appreciation of reality as dukkha, not worth clinging to for an instant.
But fire on one's head is a strong expression. So I cannot say it feels like fire on my head.
I think for
Nina,
now,
Nina,
okay,
okay, thanks, Sukin. I was just going to say, Nina, I think it's a really good question. And I hear where you're coming from when you started off by saying, there doesn't seem like it's a fire in my head. I feel like that much of the time also. But I guess I appreciated Sukin's interpretation that it relates to dukkha. And it's a powerful metaphor for, like, I think of that sutta, the Aditya Pariyaya sutta, all is on fire. The eyes are on fire. What are they on fire with? Lopa, dosa, and moha. So it's an analogy for the realities that are appearing that are on fire in the sense that they are being burnt up at each moment, at each split second, if you like. And I don't think, of course, that they're there to condition aversion, but it's a condition potentially for samvega, so that we can have some understanding and detachment from it. Yes, it is also pointing to the truth that everything is dissolving and being burnt at every moment, and that is a condition for that sense of urgency, which, as you alluded to, and I can understand well, that it's not easy to have that happen always, because there are not the conditions for it. There is not that level of wisdom. That's why we come along to listen to the Dhamma and to hear our friends talk about Dhamma, and helps us to have more understanding and more detachment. It's a slow process, as you know.
and to put it in the context of what Sarah was talking about, I think for us, most of us, the fire is seen out there, not on the head. When it's on the head, when the understanding is of that level.
It's not difficult to understand the word, the meaning of it. But what about the truth, the ultimate truth? Just in a word of the teachings of the Buddha about what is there. For example, the Buddha realized the truth that actually there is no person, no one, nothing at all. But it's only a moment of that which arises and experiences an object, only one object at a time. Is it now? Is it true? Otherwise, we think a lot about what in the teachings of the Buddha as the fire on the head and so on. But what is there now as a fire? See, we just talk about the fire on the head, but what is the fire? Where is it? Where's the head? See, no understanding of the subtlety, the absolute truth of reality, which is hidden from eons and eons ago up to now. And the teachings of the Buddha is so true for anything, any moment, because it's there. That's why when there can be the understanding and truthful to the truth, how much understanding of the word of truth of this very moment. For example, what is seen, see, the Buddha realized what is seen, and he taught us about the truth of what is seen. But now, what is seen? Only the word in the mind. It's that which can be seen. It cannot be anything at all. But many people are seen now. So how can it be just a moment of seeing? Not moment before seeing, not moment after seeing. That's why just learn to understand the absolute truth of each word to be enrooted, so firm to understand the truth. Because when we hear more, consider more, the truth become to be strong, firm, understanding, little by little. For example, when someone is asked, is that you, is that thing, is there anyone? What's the answer? It does not depend on the word, but of the truth at the moment when one thinks about it. I can say, see, anyone can say, no one. Yes, but what is that? Is it just thought to believe, or the truth of it is there, which can be realized even right now, but not the reality which cannot understand it. Only the understanding gradually about the truth, why it does not appear as it is. See, when one opens one's eyes, what are there? So many things. How come? Just how many moments of seeing, condition, different shape and form, to be taken for something now, isn't it? And what is the absolute truth? That's why just learn to understand the truth gradually. Otherwise, the self tries so hard again and again, try to realize the truth, try to understand more. But how can it be more without stage by stage of the development of understanding? Is it firm now? There's no Nina, no Sujin, no one at all. All are Dhammas, different ones by conditions, arising and falling away, never to return. Is that firm enough? To just live with understanding that what is the moment of understanding and what is the moment of no understanding of what is there. And right understanding does not deceive. It is so true how much understanding of the word no one and no thing, and how it can be realized because it's so true. So there can be moment of realizing the truth, but not by trying so hard or think that, how can I realize that? Life is so short. How short? It can be next moment, death. As next moment, falling asleep. Exactly the same, but different function of each moment of citta. So no matter now we're thinking about this, it can come anytime. It can be next moment. At that moment, it's not death. It's thinking, see? But when it's death, it's like one falls asleep. Who knows that moment? And then born again, just like this life, from death, and then there is birth, to go on by conditions, to see, to hear, to smell, to taste, to touch, just to live only in a moment. So it's not fearful though. It's so natural. And consider the words of the Buddha. What is there now is a reality because it has its characteristic. We call it fire, but it's heat, right? And what about sometimes when you touch the body, it's hot. Can you change the characteristic of the truth? It's gone, and then there is the idea of it's still there as my body, sometimes cold and sometimes hot. But in truth, it's only thinking, because what is real is only what appears now. So short, to learn about the shortness of the arising and falling away of each moment. Now, seeing how many moments, but in truth it's so short, just one at a time. It doesn't matter because no one can realize the moment when it arises and falls away, just only one. But the mark, the sign of seeing is there to be known, to understand the truth. No one at all. Gradually, it will let go the idea of I see, right? Because no I who see. But when will it be that moment? Who knows? Only right understanding begins to understand that. Without understanding what is there now, it's impossible to realize the nature of that, which just sees, arise, to see, and then gone. Is that true? And this is the only way. The firm confidence of the truth develop gradually to understand no matter what is there, not only seeing. What about hearing and thinking and liking, hatred and so on in life? No expectation what would be object of understanding of its truth, because it depends on the development of understanding right now. See, to let go, not try so hard to let go the attachment to the 5 khandha, all 5 khandhas, and now many khandhas, even classified by way of 5 khandhas, and it has to be fully, absolutely, ultimately, absolute. Otherwise, there still is the idea, very latent I of thing. That's the way to understand what is there gradually. And the moment of understanding the truth gradually is the moment of letting go by itself. Not just thinking about it's so great, how can I have less and so on. That's I. And what khandha is there? 5 khandhas. See, and only 4 can experience the object. Just learn to understand the truth. It's not easy to understand the truth because ignorance is there. 3 moments after seeing, it's there already. So how many moments of ignorance, attachment, and other akusala in a day? Just learn to understand each one by conditions. Be truthful to each characteristic as it cannot be changed. At moment of attachment, it is attachment. At moment of ignorance, it's ignorant. Not anyone at all. Just learn to what are there in life from life to life, and the understanding gradually letting go stage by stage. Is that true? Be truthful to the truth. That's why now we here again to condition the moment of not forget the truth, sometime, somewhere, of some objects by conditions. Right now, see, be truthful to the truth. Is there any direct understanding of whatever is now appearing? The beginning of to be truthful to the truth. And right understanding does not deceive at all. How much understanding is there is known as it is. Otherwise, there can be wrong development, wrong thinking about trying to do this and that in order to experience the truth quicker and so on. Impossible. What about any khandha now appears? They are there, see, but which one is appearing? Not as it is, but as something as before. But learning to understand the absolute truth, actually what is taken for something is only the absolute realities, because it has its quality, its characteristic. And when it's the reality which experiences an object, it has its function. For now, we think usually, even not in word, but it's there, I see, or who else, right or wrong. And what is right can be known, can be a little firmer while we are talking about it, just to develop the base, the ground, to understand the truth, stage by stage, little by little. For example, the meditation center. See, what is the truth of it? What is meant by center? What is meant by meditation? And what is there as the object of attachment? Because if there's no attachment, does anyone go there? What for? Well, reality is now at this moment can be directly understood, depending on the understanding of what is moment of ignorance and what is moment of understanding, and what are there at moment of understanding, what is meant by awareness or attention, and so on. If they are not understood, I all the time. Who else? So just develop the understanding, and then anything can arise by conditions to show up the accumulation that has been accumulated in life. Different life, different events, different moments by conditions. Can anyone knows the other's accumulation? To let go the idea of self or his, impossible. That's why be truthful to the truth, little by little. They are now ignorance, not understanding, seeing, hearing, smelling, tasting, touching, thinking, talking at all. But it can be a moment of beginning to have firm confidence of the truth that it's only the moment of hearing with wise considering whether it's true or not, little by little. So very natural. What is there now? It's so natural. It's already there. Can anyone change it not to be natural? It's gone. Actually, no one there. That's why no one can do anything, because in truth, there's no one. And then what is there? If it's not known, it's still I. I don't know. For example, is there any truth now? Oh, I cannot find it. What is it? Where is it? What is true? And the answer is the understanding stage by stage.
You say it's so natural, but even so, it's so natural. It's still, it seems that we don't get it really.
Because of
We think
me,
it's so natural.
what about understanding little by little? Why it's so natural? Because in truth, it's always there. Whatever appears, it's there already by conditions. And this is the letting go gradually, the idea of self. How long it will take to have no clinging to this, the five khanda, as something. That's why to be truthful to the truth is long, long time to understand the truth little by little, unexpectedly, how much is there now. But it begins to understand that where are the worlds and what is a world? See, Where is it? Where is the world?
Here and now.
Where?
At this moment, you would say.
So what is this moment, which is the world?
It depends what my conditions, whether it's seeing or hearing or thinking, mostly thinking.
So the world is very close, right? Here, so close. Where? Seeing, here. Hearing, here. They are here, not in England or New Zealand or Sri Lanka or anywhere. It's here. Seeing is here. Thinking is here. All are here. And when there is the understanding, no place, no idea, because the truth appears as it is. Seeing sees. So where is that which is seen? Not anyone, not anything, not far away, so close, and then gone. And that is the truth. And this is parami, to be patient, to understand that it's so true, that right understanding begins to develop gradually, unknowingly, because in a day, usually there's no thought about the truth of what is there at all. At moment of touching is something, at moment of eating is something, at moment of seeing is something. So to be truthful, how many times in life that it's a moment of thinking about the truth of that which appears as hardness, see? Hardness, no thing, nowhere, no world. Not in this room, it's just hardness there. Only a moment and then gone. So listen to be truthful to the truth. Otherwise, there cannot be more understanding of what is there, to let go the idea of the room, the finger, the cup, or anything touched. Just understand the truth, that's all. So is there you? A stage of understanding, intellectual understanding. See? Without this, how can there be the letting go of I'm here, sitting, I see, I know. All namakhandas, for namakhandas and rupa, are object of attachment, cling. That's the way to understand even clinging itself as just a reality. So what is there in life has to be known as it is. Otherwise, there must be the idea of self, of thing. Well, it's not at all. Firm confidence, little by little. And this is parami. Why there is still the idea of self, even we have heard a lot about seeing and whatever is there, because it's not the moment of understanding the truth of seeing. It's there, but no understanding of the truth of it until it's there. From far away, getting closer and closer and closer to what is there now, seeing. If it's far away, it cannot be known. But since it's there now, so very close, and nothing can lead it. The moment of even thinking about it, attending it, being aware with understanding little by little, until it can appear just one at a time, as it's so true, only one sign or mark of a reality. By then, no one there, see? Because right understanding experiences the characteristic of that which is there, as it is. No body. That can be anything like now, the idea, attachment, but they are all dhammas. Learning to understand each one gradually, one by one. Can it be thinking at moment of realizing the characteristic of a reality? Anything can arise by conditions, but right understanding can develop on and on to understand it, each one by conditions, to let go the idea of self lurking from moment to moment, here and there.
Yesterday, as you mentioned, we discussed how bhavana means understanding or insight. Insight is vipassana, and people like to hear about or think about or have vipassana or talk about vipassana meditation. But vipassana is the clear insight, the clear and direct understanding of reality that appears now one at a time, and without the very careful considering about different realities, the careful consideration and understanding of dhammas appearing now as not self, as anatta. It can never condition the direct understanding of realities, which is satipatthana, the development of satipatthana. And without the direct understanding of realities again and again, it cannot be the clear insight into realities, vipassana, beginning with the clear insight into namas and rupas, and later the clear insight into the arising and falling away of realities. And without that clear insight into the arising and falling away of realities, appearing not just by thinking about them, but by clearly understanding the nature of realities, then it's impossible to directly know what is dukkha, to understand dhammas as dukkha. So the understanding has to develop and begin from the hearing and very careful considering. And when we talk about two kinds of understanding, samatha bhavana and vipassana bhavana, vipassana bhavana means from the beginning the understanding of realities as they are, to condition the direct understanding and then the clear understanding. It has to develop naturally, and naturally now means no thought of trying to do something or go somewhere or catch the meaning or pay attention to one reality but not another. It just means life carries on, but understanding develops deeper and deeper, closer and closer to this moment.
Is it clear understanding of sati now? Word by word, one characteristic at a time.
We know a theory,
And
but
only
that's the beginning. That's the beginning. It's thinking, still thinking about it, but it has to begin somewhere.
so when it's not only thinking about it, what is there? When is it sati? What is there? When it's not just thinking about it.
When it is only beginning.
Yes, but without understanding sati as sati, can there be the understanding when sati is there? That's why Buddha taught in details about different levels, different stages of sati. For example, at moment of understanding, now is there sati?
Very weak. Very weak.
But is there sati?
Very weak.
Is it there? It's
Not
there.
sure. Doubt. We have doubt.
We learn about sati, the moment with sati and the moment without sati. Otherwise, we just talk about the word sati. It's such and such. But when it's there or when it's not there, it's not known. Right? That's why we learn from the very beginning what is sati, what is a reality that we give name or call it sati. What is it? Otherwise, it cannot be known. Not just the word sati, it seems like everyone understands that, but in truth, what is it?
Non-forgetful of reality. That is sati.
So at moment of good deeds, is there sati?
There has to be sati of
Because
Dhamma.
not forgetful of kusala deeds, right?
Yes.
And is it there now when we talk about sati?
It's a way of developing.
At moment we talk
listen.
about
listen.
sati, is there sati?
We listen and we learn.
Yeah. That's why there can be the intellectual understanding about the difference between sati and vitaka. In other cetasikas, that vitaka can arise with any moment, kusala or akusala, or vipaka or kriya, depending on conditions. But sati arises with any wholesome moment.
Wholesome. Only wholesome, yes.
So is there sati at moment of sleeping?
Of sleeping. No.
Yes, in this realm, because it's kusala vipaka and sati arises with all sobhana citas. So the rebirth in the human realm is kusala vipaka, so sati must be there.
Even just a little more understanding of the truth will be conditioned to let go the idea of self. Not just only one condition or one reality, but the moment of understanding this and that. Conditioned moment of letting go. When there is the understanding of what sati is, it let go. To take sati for I. See, gradually, little by little. Not enough until it appears as just a reality.
So obvious in that example, I cannot do anything. I cannot have sati or not have sati in deep sleep because it's conditioned already by way of karma as a result. But actually it's like any sati, even now, no one can have it or not have it at this moment. It depends if the chitta now is kusala or not. If it's kusala, sati is there. If the chittas are kusala, no sati. All by conditions.
There is the understanding that sati is there, right? At moment of kusala. when will appear as it is. Another level. See, even there is sati at moment of kusala, but when will appear as the object of understanding that it is sati. That's why panya develops on and on and on until there's more and more letting go the idea of self, even by the intellect understanding at level of intellectual understanding. A little bit to condition moment of letting go. Why strong understanding try to find ways to experience it, but without any understanding at all. Or is there Michamaka in Tipitaka? Not only Sammamaka, there is also wrong Michamaka too. And when it's right, it's panya. And when it's wrong, it's michatiti.
When it's wrong, micha sati, even though there is no micha sati chetasika, but it shows there is no sati at that moment, and everything is wrong when there is wrong understanding.
Ajahn, I'm not familiar with the term micha maka. Can you talk about that, please?
That when there's no understanding, can it be right?
No.
And when there is wrong understanding, and we take it for right understanding or the path leading to understand the truth, it's wrong.
Okay, thank you.
8 michamaka and 8 sammamaka factors.
Buddha taught about the right, the eightfold path, and also the wrong path, micha wrong, and magga path, so the wrong path with all the same factors, but all micha ditti, and so on. Micha sankara.
Thanks, Sarah. Thank you, Ajahn.
And when it's wrong, maka, it cannot understand anything at all. But when it's right, sammamaka, it understands what michamaka is. So, right maka can tell anything about what is wrong and what is right. But when it's wrong, michamaka, can they talk or say anything about right maka?
I wouldn't think so.
That's why it's the Dhamma discussion on Dhamma is a blessing to understand what is true and what is not true. Even when read the same thing and hear the same word.
I can see that.
And it's also why the samaditi is the leader, right understanding is the leader, because when it's samaditi, all the path factors are sama, are right. But when it's the wrong understanding, micha ditti, all the factors arising with it are micha as well.
Right.
Someone may think they're developing sati, but if it is micha ditti, then it must be the wrong sati, the wrong factors arising, the wrong vitaka, the wrong virya, the wrong samadhi, the wrong everything. come back. I don't know if if it's convenient. Would you like to bring up your topic? I just saw it before the discussion started, and I'm really not familiar with it. So please bring it up to Ajahn.
Yes, I started to send it out yesterday because actually in our recent discussions with some friends, someone brought up something that she read in the Sankiti Sutta in the Nikaya, and in that sutta there's mentioning of the triad, I think it's the triplets or something like that, like the three different set of three Dhamma. So when it talks about the three skills, it mentions the three skills of in going forward, in going backward, and in means to progress. And I didn't find many explanations about those three terms, except that the second term refers to the awful states, and then the third term, the means to progress, is usually used by the Mahayana to justify the what they call the skillful means that they use in any kind of teaching. For example, the chanting of Amitofu to as a mean to skillfully guide the listener to be to the higher truth, something like that. So of course, I don't think that is true, but because there's no reference on the meaning of those terms, I would like to clarify the meaning of them. Thank you.
A short comment from me. I also was unable to find any commentary material translated into English on this as yet. And I think all we can say is that it has to mean something that is consistent with the rest of the teachings. And the other comment I would make is that people take little bits of the teachings and give them their own interpretation, because it certainly doesn't elaborate what it means by the skillful means. And if people are determined to use that as a justification for some other kind of practice which is not otherwise supported by the teachings, then there's not much that one can do, because they're being led by wrong view, and giving them a correct interpretation from the commentary probably wouldn't help much to change that view, because wrong views are usually quite firmly entrenched, and it always needs a lot of time and exposure to correct understanding to have that effect. But yes, just to come back to my original comment, it will mean, of course, something that it'll mean one of the realities that we know about. For example, panya, perhaps either of the level of samatha or the level of vipassana. And that's as much as one can say about it without any further trying to guess what the commentary might have to say about it.
Thanks, John. I agree totally with what you say. I think the reason I thought that there could be some textual references on this is because the friend who brought up the topic also cited some explanations of a Vietnamese teacher, a Theravada teacher, but because the meaning was not clear at all, and I think it's not the same like the one used in Mahayana. So I guess that teacher should use his explanation in the text himself. And I thought that it would be interesting to know what the commentaries say about it.
Unfortunately, the Digha Nikaya, there's not a lot of translation of the commentary available in English, so there may be in Thai, but I haven't had a chance to speak to anyone here about it.
Yes, and also because among our friends in Australia, many of them have the background on Mahayana. And although I think now they really appreciate the, many important points that we talk about in our discussion, I think that that would be a very relevant detail for them.
I don't know if they're probably not thinking in terms of what is the ultimate reality that represented by the term. But if one puts it that way, obviously some kind of kusala. Is it kusala with panya? If so, is what kind of panya is it? So when you mention something like the chanting, is chanting like that, is it kusala to start with, just because its intention or purpose is, as you say, to introduce someone to the understanding, but the chanting itself, would it be kusala? So people have a lot of wrong understanding, don't they? It's not just about what is the path, but just even about what is kusala and akusala. They would probably say, for a start, or have the idea that the chanting itself is kusala. And so one has to go right back to the basics and back to square one and discuss it with them on a personal basis.
Yes.
And if they don't understand the basics and clinging to a practice like chanting, I don't see the value in discussing in detail a sutta and arguing about the details from different interpretations, because whatever is read will be misunderstood. So it's like there was a question the other day, I forget the details, but if there's no understanding of what is heard now or what is seen now, then however these terms are translated, it won't help at all. So there has to be the basic understanding from the very beginning. Otherwise, we get lost in the details of the commentary and the Pali and forget about what appears now again and again.
Yes, agree, Sarah.
Ajahn indicated no interest in this topic.
Truth or the word? Are we talking about the truth or the word?
The truth. But,
Okay.
but yes, but when we come across some words that we just don't know what they present, which truth they present, we ask for the help from our wise friends.
That's why we talk about any word to understand the truth. Without the truth, shall we talk about that? When it's not true. So no matter what word is heard, is it about the truth that can be known, can be understood? That's why any word can be the topic of studying about the truth of it, whether it's true or not, or it's just thinking, dreaming, the idea only.
Yes.
That's why we can talk just about one word at a time to understand more and more, clearer and deeper, because it's beyond word. To explain any reality, even the taste at moment when it's tasted. Can you help the other to understand when it's not the tasting moment?
It has to be the realities at that moment.
Mm-hmm. That's why we can talk about any word to understand its truth. Otherwise, it's not talking about the truth at all.
Thank you, Ajahn.
And I found the commentary of these passages is quite easy and it's not difficult. It's talking about the skill, the three skills. The first is skills in increasing. The second is from the commentary, skill in decreasing, and skill in the means that in the means of increasing and decreasing. And the skill, it says that is the understanding. It's very short. It's very short commentary. So skill in increasing, in decreasing, and the means that bring about the increase and the decrease. Must be the increasing of. Doesn't say.
What is the decreasing? Right. Because if it's you said it's understanding, the skill is understanding in decreasing what? I suppose the agusala tendencies, but who knows? It's not enough to be certain.
I think her microphone was off, was who knows, it's the words, not the truth.
Even the word right understanding, see? What is it? What is it?
It is that which understands what is real and the truth at this moment.
We think of the meaning. Is there any reality? Or just only the meaning of what's meant by understanding?
I think most of the time just the meaning.
About that which is real and that which is not real?
Yes, what is now there, and understanding can understand it.
It can understand what?
The Dhamma, or the characteristic of what appears.
So is there a Dhamma now?
Yes.
And is there any understanding?
Yes.
Okay. What level?
Intellectual level.
But can it be you or anyone?
No.
See, how much confidence of the truth that it is just a reality arising to understand and then gone. instantly.
Yes, it's
Otherwise, long story about understanding again and again. But is it there now? Or what is the reality of it? And it seems like there is the understanding of what we are talking about as understanding. But what is understanding now arising and falling away? Is it known? As not I understand. Many layers of understanding.
right. It can be known as not me understanding, but is not understood as arising and falling away.
At moment of saying, it's not me. Is it not me? Or it's I who say, it's not me.
No, not me. That moment it's understanding that says.
Who says?
The considering about the truth at that moment.
But is that considering at that moment, or I say, it's not moment of developing the understanding of that which is taken for I. The four namakandas are there. That's why while one is saying it's not me, it depends on how much understanding is there to condition that word.
Yes.
Mm-hmm. And can understanding be studied and known directly?
Only when there are enough conditions.
What are conditions?
A very firm and clear understanding of the truth.
Mm-hmm. And when sati arises, directly aware of that object, understanding as no one is just like any reality which experiences an object. That's why the characteristic of the reality of nama is not easy to appear. It can be known right now. But now the seeing, the thinking, the moment of speaking, all there. No one, but it's not known yet. That's why just only one can be understood directly at a time. And no doubt about different levels of understanding or different levels of sati. It's directly there. Not like now we're talking about seeing and no sati of seeing yet.
I found that when you mention about only right understanding at very high level can understand the characteristic of sati. I think that it's really very deep and so important to know, because today people talk about having sati, but no one knows what is sati.
So when it begins to be understood?
Only when understanding is strong enough and at the direct level.
When it's level of patipati.
Right.
Because patipati is sati, right? Patthana.
Yes.
So that level of sati arises being aware of the object, different from this moment. So many different objects, no awareness of anyone yet. But when it's there, no doubt about the characteristic of sati patthana, it appears directly of an object, a characteristic.
Thank you, Ajahn.
So when satipatthana does not arise, can it be patipati?
No.
Mhm.
And it takes long time.
And this shows the difference between Mittamaka and Sammamaka.
Yes. In Machamaka, one mistake what is not sati for sati.
Mhm.
When we assume that now no me, no idea of I, but what about the ditthasava, the very subtle ditthi arising so quickly all the time, even in the sense door? So it's just an assumption, no idea of I, no wrong understanding, no idea of something, but actually it's arising so quickly, even now when we talk about it or think about it.
Yes, it's so subtle it doesn't appear.
I'm just wondering if Dream or Tin have anything they would like to bring up today.
I have a very easy question. I think I have an answer to it already, but before I was wondering that in the conventional world sense, we think that as we get older, we get wiser and we get calmer in a sense. And I was wondering, how does that translate into that person being born again and being not calm again? But in my thinking, it's a fake calm, maybe. I don't know. That's my inspection.
Actually, it's a long story about someone, like we might say, oh, my friend is having a difficult time, but she's staying so calm. But what about this moment? Is it calm now? I think we discussed the other day, the appearance may look and seem so calm, but if there's attachment now, clinging, no calm at this moment. If there's even a little bit of irritation, no calm. What about the hidden ignorance or the hidden ditthi? No calm at those moments. So what we talk about as calm conventionally is just a story about someone's manner. Like an air stewardess may be calm all the time because that's by training conventionally. I had a friend who was an air hostess, and even when she was angry, she would be smiling beautifully and saying polite words and showing respect, it seems, because we look at the outer appearance. But is there any understanding of calm now? And what about the accumulation? So for some, when they get older, more and more accumulations for understanding with calm. For others, when they get older, more and more accumulations to get angry and easily irritated. So it always comes back to each moment, in truth, not a person, not an elderly being. And the accumulations continue on and on. The accumulation of kindness now accumulates, it's not lost. The accumulation of anger accumulates on. The accumulation of understanding accumulates, ready to condition more understanding in future.
The apparent wisdom of that comes from experience in life. As we all know, growing up, one goes through stages. As a kid, you're interested in this. As a teenager, in that. As a young adult, in something else different. Agusala tendencies manifest differently, different stages of life. So as a person gets older, perhaps they get a bit sort of worldly wise, we say, but it doesn't mean that there's any less agusala accumulated. It just manifests in different ways. As Sarah says, it can be strong attachment to self. It can be an attachment to things that the person manages not to show. Attachment to alcohol, for example, if they're a habitual drinker, but keep it under wraps. And so we know from our study of the Dhamma that the way things appear on the outside is not necessarily reflection of the mental state. And that's the important thing when we talk about wisdom. There's the apparent calmness of the experienced person, but just from experience in life, I would say, rather than anything to do with true understanding. And then in rebirth, and it starts all over again, as you pointed out, because nothing has been learned really in life apart from the experience of that lifetime, but nothing that sort of carries forward to childhood years in the next lifetime.
I also have a following question about one's personality. And I think personality translate from all the accumulation that we had in the past, or past karma, and good vibhaka or bad vibhaka. And does that mean that my personality, still me, in the next life would somewhat be the same because of the same accumulation that's following my citta?
The kindness is accumulated, but who knows about next life? Maybe next life as a insect and no conditions for the kindness to manifest, or the understanding that accumulates now. Maybe rebirth is in a hell realm, or in an animal realm, no conditions for the understanding to arise, but it's not lost. It's still there, latent, ready to condition that understanding or kindness when time comes. Who knows when and where. And mostly what we call the personality is just an idea of someone, a being, this person.
I think all we can say is, according to the teachings, there have been innumerable previous lives. So there's probably enough accumulated tendencies for multiple personalities, depending on conditions. But who knows?
Many different conditions leading to this moment, this citta, this kindness or unkindness at this very moment. Like a friend we met earlier here, she was showing me a picture of her sister who is in hospital in a coma. When we last saw her, she was on a trip to India. We would say completely different personality, but just conditions for different cittas to arise by different conditions. And like now and a moment ago, which is the personality? Just different cittas.
And even in a single lifetime, personality can change quite dramatically.
Is there any understanding of the absolute truth that we have learned about? See, not enough yet to condition just a moment of thinking about it. That's why it keeps on going by conditions, taking many things to be something, different people, different situation, different events, on and on. But when will be moment of beginning to understand the truth that it's only thinking, and seeing is seeing, and thinking is thinking. The point is the understanding, the characteristic, which appears as it cannot be taken for anything at all. Otherwise, it cannot appear at all. Just one reality at a time to be known. That it's so true that actually that is only a moment of that which arises, and in truth it falls away. Otherwise, nothing can get rid of the idea of self at all. That's why we learn about the truth again and again and again to be remembered. For sanya to be tira sanya, very firm confidence of reality as no one. And what about those ideas? At the moment of death, it's not there, anything at all. Gone. And what about the understanding? A little bit or not at all. Accumulated.
Does your question relate to meeting a person from this lifetime in another realm? No. I'm glad to hear that.
Also, I'm wondering, to know this is a table through seeing, how many moments actually, to know that maybe a white thing in front of me, like how many moments are there?
How many moments now?
Too many.
3. Exactly the same, anytime. Otherwise, you think about the future, but not now. Closer and closer to the truth here.
And countless moments, but it's like one always wants to find some distraction from just understanding what appears now. So it seems so much more interesting to talk about different personalities or different beings or different realms or practices or count the moments, but what about just what appears now? What about the understanding of seeing or hearing? Because otherwise, as the Jan said, there will never be the letting go of the idea of someone, something. It will always be something that's seen. It will always be someone with a personality.
Because I was thinking that I think in languages, sometimes in Thai, sometimes in English. Even like speaking to myself in my head requires a lot of moments to maybe like even form a word to talk to myself even. So maybe it's very delicate for each moment to be known.
So to have the idea of pink or pink cloth, countless moments of thinking, countless, but it's no use to try to work out how many is countless. But what is seen is just what is seen. And there has to be so much thinking about the impression of the shape, the impression of the color, the impression of the pattern, long before there's any thinking, not even in words yet, about the pink cloth, and then later the words. So it shows how actually we live in the world of thinking all the time, thinking about different shapes, colors, impressions, ideas. And did you want to say anything or bring anything up before we finish?
I have a question about what is calmness, because before I thought calmness is Vedana, but Vedana only has 3 types. It's pleasant, unpleasant, and indifferent. So that's my question.
Why do you call it Vedana?
Because there's misunderstanding.
No. Why do you call that Vedana?
Because calmness is
No.
a feeling.
Why do you call it Vedana or Sanya?
To understand, to know.
No. It's a reality which feels. It arises to feel, but it doesn't matter you call it Vedana or other word. In Pali, in Thai, in any language, but it's a reality that when we use the term Vedana, those who understand the meaning of it knows what it's meant, feeling. So feeling is a reality. It cannot be calm, different realities. So we have just the idea when we read Tipitaka or the words of the Buddha by oneself, taking it like we used to take it, like we know it, what it's meant by Vedana. But in truth, more subtle than that, Vedana cannot remember. Vedana cannot like, it cannot hate. It arises to feel, and it's there with Citta each moment. And in different feeling, not moment of being sad or pleasant, see? But when it's sadness, it's there, feel, sad, it feels. So it's a reality. So no doubt about whether it's calm or calmness or not calm at all. When there is the understanding of the reality of it. Can feeling remember?
No,
Can
no,
it be calm?
it can.
It cannot be other thing except feels. Just tries to feel. It feels. Whether it's pain or pleasant, it's a reality which feels no one at all.
It can be neutral, but that's not the same as calmness.
Or is calm a reality?
It is.
Is it
But-
citta?
No,
Why not?
because it does not. Oh, actually, yes.
That is the remembrance of the word, not clear understanding of reality. I am sure everyone has heard the word citta or chit in Thai. And it seems like it's well known what is citta. But in truth, what is it? Not as we think. So what is the nature of what we use the term citta or chit?
Is the reality that experiences.
What does it mean?
It experiences colors, sound, and other.
Is sound citta?
No, it's not.
So what is citta?
Citta is nama, dhamma.
Not the word.
Not the-
The moment of hearing, it hears. See? No one has thought about it at all. All the time from birth to death, it's there, arising and experiencing an object. at any time, even right now, but it's not known as it is. A moment of experiencing an object which appears as sound or sight, smell or taste or whatever. It's there, different ones with different factors. That's why I learn to understand what we take for I at moment of seeing actually is not. It's only that which arises by conditions, the I bears and that which can impinge on it, and the karma which condition it to be the result of wholesome deeds or unwholesome deeds. Experience different objects, pleasant sometimes and unpleasant by conditions. Little by little.
The chitta, seeing, experiences what is visible. It's the leader in experiencing what is visible. Only the chitta sees it. But at that moment, there must be feeling which also experiences the object, neutral feeling at that moment. And there must be other cetasikas arising as well, which also experience the object, each with their own function. So it's not enough just to say the chitta experiences the object, because all chittas and cetasikas experience the object, but only the chitta sees the object. And at that moment, no calm. There is feeling, neutral feeling, but no calm. And afterwards, if there is clinging, attachment to the object with pleasant feeling, no calm. But at moments of kindness or understanding, there is calm with the kusala chittas. So calm is quite different from Vedana or feeling, which arises with every chitta experiencing the object in a pleasant, unpleasant, or neutral way.
Say a separate mental factor.
So is calm cetasika that arises when there's kusala dhamma?
Can calm experience an object?
Yes.
See, yes.
Look at your sister.
It cannot experience this. It's a question.
You're correct first time.
Sure.
It's a cetasika, so it must experience the object. A cetasika arising with any kind of kusala chitta, pasadi cetasika, calm arising with any kusala.
You
Experiencing the object.
You think about the word and the meaning, but not the reality.
Right.
So you can answer that it's cetasika, but when the question is whether it experience an object or not, you said no. See, that's why each word should be understood clearly and clearer.